Good morning, grade 8s. Today we are going to talk about enharmonics. In order to completely understand enharmonics, the first thing you need to understand is the piano keyboard. So let's take a look at it. Here is a piano keyboard. You can see that it's a collection of white keys and black keys. The white keys travel the entire length of the keyboard, so from there all the way down to there, and the black keys are in between the white keys. At first glance it looks like there is a black key in between every single white key, but we can see that here is a cluster of 3 black keys and then 2 white keys side by side, then 2 black keys and 2 white keys side by side, 3 black keys, 2 white keys side by side, 2 black keys, 2 white keys side by side, 3 black keys, 2 white keys side by side, 2, 2, 3. So we can see that this is a pattern of black keys and white keys. Cluster 2 black keys, a cluster of 3 black keys, a cluster of 2 black keys, a cluster of 3 black keys, cluster of 2, cluster of 3, cluster of 2, cluster of 3. And what separates these clusters of black keys are 2 white keys side by side without a black key in the middle. Okay, now let's take a look at how we name all the keys on the keyboard. We know that we use, in our musical alphabet, we use the first 7 letters. So that would be A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E. Please don't write it on keyboard at home. It's not a good idea. I'm only allowed to do this because I am a trained professional. So we can see that all the white keys get names. Now we know that when we have notes that are just plain old names, they're called naturals. So this is A natural, this is B natural, C natural, D natural, E natural, F natural, etc., etc., etc. And we don't need to write anything beside those notes because they're natural. So that middle column on the sheet that you made are natural notes, which are represented by white keys. Now let's talk about how we name black keys. Let's start by talking about notes that are called flat. When we name a note flat, what we're talking about is moving that note down or to the left the smallest distance possible. So let's start at A. I want to make A flat. So I'm going to move A to the left to make it flat. Well, whoop, there we go. I've moved to the left. Now I'm at E. A to E, there's A flat, right? Sorry, not so much. Don't forget the definition of flat is moving down the smallest distance possible. Moving from A to F is much smaller than A to E. Moving from A to G is even smaller than A to F. But the smallest distance would be moving from A to the black key that's touching it to the left. Do you see how that works? So that note is A flat. Here's B, smallest distance possible. B flat, the black key to the left. Here's C. Wait, there's no black key. So the smallest distance possible would be B natural. That means that C flat and B natural are the same note. They are enharmonic equivalents. D, D flat. E, E flat. F, F flat. So F flat and E are the same note. They are enharmonic equivalents. Let's do sharps now. A sharp is the same as a flat, only the opposite direction. So instead of moving to the left the smallest distance possible, which is also known as a semitone, we're moving to the right the smallest distance possible. So instead of saying, we're going to move to the right from A to E, that's not the smallest distance possible. The smallest distance possible is from A to the black key here. B, smallest distance possible, here's B sharp. Well, B sharp and C are the same thing, enharmonic equivalents. C, C sharp. D, D sharp. E, E sharp. Okay, so E sharp and F natural are the same note. F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, etc., etc., etc. So we've just learned that when 2 notes share a name, they are called enharmonic equivalents. This occurs most often with notes that are sharp or flat. For example, let's take a look at the note D. D sharp would be here. the black key in between D and E. But D sharp is also E flat. So this black key shares two different names. It's D sharp and it's E flat. This black key is C sharp and D flat. This black key, F sharp and G flat. G sharp and A flat. A sharp and B flat. All of these black keys have two different names, a sharp name and a flat name. That's also enharmonics. There you go.